Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. Tonight's final drink is from Lasso Motel. This is their Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey finished in an Amburana cask, coming in at a 50% ABV. Now for full disclosure, I reached out to Lasso Motel for a review sample. They were kind enough to send this over for us to take a look at and a review, so just keeping that transparency open. So Lasso Motel is somewhat of a new bottling showing up on a lot of shelves, and they're fairly transparent by what they're doing. And they've got like 13 bottles in their first release, and they're out the floodgates. They're hitting things hard. And essentially what they tell us that this is being sourced from Green River Distillery, which makes some really good whiskey. And they tell us the mash bill they're using, which is the 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% malted barley. Then finishing it in Amburana casks. Now, quick spark notes on what Amburana is. Essentially, it is a hardwood coming from South America. They use it a lot of times not only for building furniture, but also for finishing their national spirit as well. Now, Amburana wood is known to give a cinnamon sugar note and be a fairly oily finish onto a whiskey itself. Honestly, everything I've had from Lasso Motel has been really solid with their finishings, so let's just see how they do with an Amburana. I will say, I love these little bottles. These are 375s. The full 750s are identical shape and design. I think these are awesome. Really cool idea on these. So, as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hang around for a bit, become a member if you'd like. If you're interested in some other reviews over Lasso Motel that I've done, links to those videos will be up above and down below, along with a link to their Salebach website, so you can check them out, and if they ship to you and you're interested in buying one, you definitely can. There we go. And all their cork tops are all color coordinated depending on their bottles as well. Really fun. Alrighty. Beautiful golden color, almost honeycomb. Kind of gives me vibes of a honeycomb color, very light golden. Alrighty, let's go for notes. Ooh, that is a very light impact, at least on the nose. You can still tell it's Amburana, don't get me wrong. But it's not as pungent as I've had a lot of my other Amburana finishes. Now, personally, I do enjoy what Amburana does to a spirit. I know a lot of people are very one-sided or the other. This is very light in that. You still get the cinnamon sugar. However, the bourbon still peeks its way through. You are getting a bit of corn dusty sweetness in there, a little bit of spiciness from the rye. But definitely, you get the cinnamon sugar note, a little oiliness on there as well, which is typical. A little graham cracker going on, a little bit of, yeah, like a graham cracker. Like this is like a honey graham cracker. Because you get that little bit of honey sweetness in there as well. Nice bit of chariness, a little oak vanilla caramel going on in here. And I'm definitely getting that brown sugary note, but also the cinnamon sugar note. Which typically comes, brown sugar you can typically find in like bourbons and things like that, so it's not surprising. But I do like that's peeking through on its own terms versus just being dominating, at least on the nose, when it comes to that Amburana finish. But overall, no ABV, nothing harsh, no off notes. It's a really solid Amburana finish. I gotta give that credit. The bit of rye spiciness helps break things up, bringing across a little more herbalness, a little bit of floral rye going on. Yeah, all right, let's go for a sip. Taste comes across a lot more with the Amburana finish. It's sweet, cinnamon sugars, oiliness going on, definitely. It clings very well on that. A little bit of bitterness, which I tend to find in Amburana finishes. The big thing for me, however, you do get a lot of the grains going on from the bourbon as well. Getting that kind of corn dusty, husky note going in there. That rice spiciness is showing up. The waxiness from the barley is there too. Even here in the finish, you are getting that bit of pepperiness. And that for me, definitely that cinnamon sugar, sweet notes are clinging for life. And it is very, very oily on that. Still pretty solid though. The spices is really kind of what's playing with me, and it's probably because of the rye build playing with that Amburana wood that I'm getting these almost like clove, nutmeg, and almost Christmas spices going on. And that's interesting because I don't think I've found that prior. And it might be just because of the mash build that Green River's using that I'm finding it. But it really does change the profile on that Amburana side of things. I like that. A little bit of honey sweetness in there as well. And there's a creamy vanilla. It's actually reminding me of, for a short amount of time, I found them at like Costco and a few other places. They were like a honeycomb cracker or like a biscuit. And then it had like honeycomb ice cream in the middle. It's really darn good. And it's kind of giving me that vibe because I am getting the creaminess of a vanilla mixed in there with that honey. That's a fun little memory. Again, the only real criticism I have towards it, it's got that little bit of bitterness in there, but that tends to come with that finishing. But overall, that's a really solid example of doing Amburana finish and the bourbon not getting lost in things. I like that one. Alrighty, let's talk about a grade for this one. How we do that. So, typical pricing on this is going to be about $75. And to be honest, that's about average for a lot of your Amburana finishes. If not, they're more expensive. You have Barrel Craft that did it. They wanted like 85 to 90. Nulu did it. They wanted well over $100. You even look at something like RD1 doing it, and they want 70, usually plus dollars for that one. For me, honestly, it gets a very solid B. The big thing for me is that how well the bourbon itself breaks through that Amburana finish. And I'm going to guess either one of two things. Either that had been a previously used barrel of Amburana or a very short amount of time for finishing. Either way, smart thinking on there. It doesn't overpower things. It's still cinnamon sugar sweet, don't get me wrong. But it is definitely one of the better examples I've had of that finish that really allowed that bourbon to come through. Big thumbs up on this one. If you're an Amburana fan, you probably need to add this to your collection. And again, if you're interested in learning more about Lasso Motel and any of their offerings, a link to their website will be down in the description area below. Go show them some love. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Lasso Motel Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey finished in an Amburana cask. If you have any questions about the bottle itself, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirits I should go looking for, also let me know down below. Love doing these reviews and sharing with you the experience at home. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
You know, I really like it might not.